Good morning, class 11. In yesterday's session, I discussed with you the characteristics of S, P and D block elements and also their general electronic configuration. I hope you people must have practiced writing the general electronic configuration by relating it with the normal electronic configuration of the various elements belonging to different blocks. And at last, I concluded the session quickly with these sentences, which is actually about the characteristics of D block element. So here I am going to explain you the characteristics again in detail. The first characteristic is D block elements are known as transition elements. So basically they are known as transition element because of their transitional properties which lie between the highly reactive metals of S block and between P block elements. So they show a transition between the two blocks. That is why their properties are transitional between the two blocks. That is why these are known as transition elements, and they have incompletely filled d orbitals in the ground state or in any oxidation state. Incompletely filled means D1, D2, D3, D4, D5 and so on. These are incompletely filled. D block elements have 4 transition series. Okay, now let me make it clear. They have 4 transition series. So the 4 transition series are, as you can see here, the D block is beginning. Please pay attention to what I am going to tell you here. The D block is beginning from period 4 and it consists of 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th period. So 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th period I am writing here. It has period 4, 5, 6 and 7. And period number tells us about the shell number. I am writing here. Period number is obtained by the value of shell number, that is outermost shell number. So that means 4th period elements will have 4 shells, 5th period elements will have 5 shells, 6th period element will have 6 shells and 7th period element will have 7 shells. And if you remember, the electron enters into n-1d subshell. n-1d subshell. I told you while explaining the general electronic configuration. So n-1d subshell means when you are in 4th period. When you are in 4th period, the d subshell will be 3d. When you are in 5th, it will be 4d. And in 6th, it will be 5d. And 7th, it will be 6d. So 3D, 4D, 5D and 6D. These are the 4 transition series. Right? I hope it is clear now. And now one more thing, children. If you compare it with the Aufbau's principle, you can see here S block starts from period 1 and ends at period 7. Again I am explaining you this. S block is beginning in period 1 and ending at period 7. That is why in Aufbau's principle you have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s and 7s. That means S is present in first period till 7th period. Whereas when you talk about P is here starting from this 13th group, which is lying in second period. Okay, and then it it covers this 13 to 18 groups and all are lying in second period. We will not consider helium here. Helium is an exception because it is atomic number 2. So when you write down the electronic configuration of helium, it is 1s2. So generally in this case, helium, because it is a noble gas, it is placed here, but the last electron in case of helium is not entering into this P subshell. So excluding this, when you consider all these elements, you'll find that the last electron is entering into the p subshell, and p subshell is beginning from 7th period. So again, when you recall the Aufbau's principle, the p block is, the p subshell is starting from 2p, then we have 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p and 7p. So p involves period 2 to 7. Similarly, I explained you about this third D block. D block starts from period 4 and ends at period 7. Since the last electron is entering into n minus 1d, that is why it is written as 3d, 4d, 5d and 6d. Okay. Now moving on to the next point, I'll explain you about F also, but first of all let me explain you other points. These are all metals. I hope this is clear. 4 transition series. All metals with high melting point and boiling point. They have a very high melting and boiling point, mostly form colored complexes or colored compounds because they have a tendency to lose electron. That is, electron can undergo transition from lower energy state to higher energy state. You will do all these things in detail when you specifically study this chapter D block. They are paramagnetic in nature. There are 2 magnetic behavior. Basically, broadly you can say there are 2 magnetic behavior shown by the complexes, diamagnetic and paramagnetic. Diamagnetic means the species, that chemical species is repelled in the magnetic field, and paramagnetic means that chemical species is attracted in the magnetic field. Okay, and I'll explain you this in detail again because we have questions based on paramagnetic and diamagnetic characteristics. They have variable oxidation state. Okay, now suppose I take an example of iron here. Okay, you must have gone through 2 valencies of iron. Iron exhibit in this state, ferrous state, Fe2 plus, and also in Fe3 plus. A very common example. And then I can take up copper. It is again a D block element. It has Cu1 plus cuprous state and cupric Cu2 plus. So you will observe that most of the D block elements have variable oxidation state, and this is the reason they can be used as catalyst, because of this tendency of D block elements to show variable oxidation state. They behave as good catalyst also. So the large number of D block elements act as catalyst. Example is mentioned here. Iron, you must have studied about iron, finely divided iron used in Haber's process in the manufacture of ammonia. Then coming to this exception, group 12 of D block have completely filled d orbital. Rest all the other groups falling under D block, they have partially filled d orbitals, but group 12 like zinc has d10 electronic configuration. Fine. So I hope now these points are more clear to you as compared to yesterday's session. Now coming to the last block, which is F block element. You have to study very little about F block because you will be doing this F block element in class 12, also D block. So in this case, the last electron enters into n-2 F subshell, that is third last subshell. Now very important point to understand here. First of all, in this case D block, the last electron is entering into second last shell. In this, the last electron is entering into the third last shell of the F subshell, and this shell, third last, is known as anti-penultimate shell. Outermost is known as valence shell, then second last is known as penultimate shell, and third last is known as anti-penultimate shell. Okay, n-1d contains 0 to 1 electron in case of this F block elements. When you write down the electronic configuration, you will find it out. n-1d contains 0 to 1 electrons, whereas ns subshell has 2 electrons. So the general electronic configuration becomes n-2f 1 to 14 because it can hold a maximum of 14 electrons. And then the D can have 0 or 1 always. and Ns will be completely filled, Ns2. This is the general electronic configuration. And since the last electron is going into the third last shell, it is known as inner transition elements because of the last electron entering into the N-2 F subshell. So as I explained you earlier that it consists of two series, the lanthanoid series and the actinoid series. The lanthanoid series starts from atomic number 58 to 71. Actinoid series starts from 90 to 103. There are 14 elements in each lanthanoid and actinoid series. It is from cerium to lutetium. It is from thorium to lawrencium. It is known as 4F subshell filling. It is 5F subshell filling. Now again, moving on to its comparison with Aufbau's principle. If you remember, in Aufbau's principle you had only two F series, that is 4F and 5F. Okay, now coming to this periodic table, the F block elements are present only in 6th and 7th period. Now since the last electron is entering into N-2, so if you subtract 6 with 2, you'll get 4. So the series becomes 4F. I'm writing it here, 6 minus 2, and here I'm giving you 7 minus 2. So this becomes 4F and 5F. So these are the two series coming under this F block elements. This is known as lanthanoid and this is known as actinoid. Okay, so do remember this. Now moving on to the general characteristics of the F block element. F block are heavy metals. They are very heavy metals. They have high boiling and melting point, variable oxidation state, in which +3 is the most common oxidation state. They form colored compounds, and actinoids are radioactive in nature. This is something very important. The elements or the metals falling under this category, that is 5F series, are radioactive in nature. That means they have a tendency of undergoing spontaneous emission or spontaneous breakdown of the nucleus, leading to the emission of alpha, beta and gamma radiations. So these are radioactive in nature. Now locating the position of an element in the periodic table. Here are some tips in order to locate the position of an element in the periodic table. N of the valence shell tells us about the period, which I told you. Principal quantum number tells us about the period or the shell number. The subshell in which the last electron is filled is the block of the element. Okay, if it is entering into S, then it is S block. If it is entering into P, then it is P block. If it is entering into D subshell of the second last shell, then it is D block element. And if it is entering into third last shell of F subshell, then it is F block. Group number, how do we come to know about group? Number of electrons in the last shell or penultimate shell tells us or gives the information about group. S block, number of Ns electrons. P block, please note down these points, very important. How do we come to know, how do we find out the group number in the various blocks? In case you have to locate the group of S block element, then what will you do? The number of Ns electrons, the number of electrons present in Ns, 1 or 2. If it is 1, then group 1. If it is 2, then group 2 is Ns electron. And in case of P block, we add 10 to the number of Ns and Np electron, will give you the group of P block element. In case of D block, the sum of number of N-1d electrons plus Ns will give you the group of D block element. And for this F block, the group number is 3. Or you may skip F block for now. I'll tell you about F block later on, because basically in class 11 the elements that you'll be getting are mostly from S, P and D block. Mostly F block elements you'll be doing in class 12 only. So I'll explain you this later on. First of all, we will practice about the location of group and period of S, P and D block elements. Okay, now I'll take up some example to explain you this, and then you can practice on your own also, children. So here I am taking up an example. I have written some electronic configurations already here, as you can see. In this case, you can see here sodium is mentioned 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. Now if you have to find out the group and period of this element, first of all block also. Now you can see here the last electron is entering into S subshell. So the block in this case is S block. Now coming to this period is explained with the help is explained by, as you can see here, the highest value of n tells you about the period. The highest value of n, that is the outermost shell, in this case is third shell. So the period becomes 3. Now coming to group, in case of S block, finding the group is the most simple. You can see here the number of electron associated with this ns is 1, so group is 1. I hope it is clear. Now another example I am taking up here, calcium electronic configuration is already mentioned, and as I explained you, the highest value of n here is 4. So the period is 4. It is present in fourth period. The group is, obviously it has 2 electrons in this ns2. The group becomes 2 and the block is S block, right? This is how we locate the period, group and block in case of S block element, which is the most easy. Now coming to P block, I'll explain you the P block also. Here you can see the electronic configuration of chlorine is mentioned here. Chlorine is a P block element since the last electron is entering into P subshell. So the block is understood. The block is P block. Okay. Now coming to the value of period, the period number. Highest value of n is 3 here, so the period becomes 3. You can open the periodic table picture in your book and you can compare the values. Then coming to the value of group. How do we find out the value of group? In case of P block, what do? We add the electrons, total electrons present in the outermost shell, and the outermost shell here is third shell. The third shell has 7 electrons and to this outermost electron value we add 10. So it becomes 7 plus 10. The group number is 17 in this case. Okay. Now again, to explain you this, I am taking another example. Let me take an example of aluminium, atomic number 13, right? So when you write the electronic configuration, it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p1. Okay, now please answer with me, children. The block is P block. I am not writing the block here. Now tell me the period number. You can see the highest value of shell n is 3, so period becomes 3. Now group, add the electrons present in the third shell, it is 3 plus 10, so the group becomes 10 plus 3, 13. For your convenience, I am taking one more example. Let me take the example of sulfur, atomic number 16. The electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. Fine. Block is P only, and the value of period is 3. The value of group is 2 plus 4, 6 plus 10, 16. Now why am I adding 10 here? I am adding 10 here because, children, or you can see here only, you can see, children, we have 2 groups here and we have in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 groups before p block, but we are already including the value of s electrons. As you can see here, I'm adding the value of s electrons, but d electrons are omitted. That is why, since there are 10 electrons being filled here in between in the d block elements, that is why we add 10 to compensate the skipped out part. So in short, you can say that to this value, to the total number of electrons in the outermost shell plus this 10 gives you the exact group number in which the p block element is present. Or if you are skipping out this, then to this value you need to add 12. Okay, so whatever way you can remember, choice is yours, but I feel this is more convenient to add or to find out the total number of electrons in the outermost shell and then add 10 to it. Okay, now moving on to the d block elements. Here I have mentioned some d block element also. The first is scandium. In case of d block, 1s2, 2s2 and 4s2, 3d1. This is the electronic configuration. Block is D. Highest value of N is 4 here, as you can see. So the period is 4. Scandium is present in 4th period. We always observe the highest value of shell to find out the period number. To find the value of period is same in all the cases, in all the block elements. Now how to find out the group number? In order to find out the group number, what do? We simply see the number of electrons present here and the number of electrons present here and add the two. So you will get the value as 3. The group number becomes 3. Right? Now coming to zinc, as you can see here, the block will remain D. Period is 4 and group will be 10 plus 2 equal to 12. Right? I have written iron also here. In case of iron, the value of period will be 4, as you can see, highest value, and the group number is 6 plus 2, that is 8. So this is how we find out the value of group, period and block in case of SPD, which is more important for you to practice. So children, practice more examples and then you can come up with your doubts to be discussed. Thank you for watching the video.